Hello, hello. I am Kaizen, your host, and this is New World Aeternum Weekly, episode 31, the May Dev Update Breakdown. Today is May 22nd, 2022, and this updown just came out. This Dev update just came back out a couple days ago, so we're going to go through it in detail. Tonight, I have with me WOLFDRAGON. Say hello to the beautiful people, Wolf. By the way, I'm drinking some Central Waters Pecan Kringle Stout. Say hello to the beautiful people, Wolf, and tell them what you're drinking.
Hello everyone. I have Goffel Kolsch because it is hot and I'm still recovering from yesterday. And Kai needs to start the B-roll.
Yeah, I'll get it going. All right, and we also have SWORDSMITH. Say hello to the beautiful people, Sword. Tell them what you're drinking.
Hello, y'all. I am drinking Diet Coke with a spritz of orange and vanilla.
Ooh, very fancy. Very nice. I like. Very nice. All right. So, it's just us for tonight. We're going to sort of run through things and see what's what. Why don't we start with everybody going through, what's been going on this week? What you been up to in game? Sword, we'll start with you this week.
I've been continuing to develop my new int build as well as helping some people and teaching them how to gain nice quick faction tokens without the use of dungeon runs. We actually held off on a number of the dungeon runs this week to give people a slight break. But that still doesn't mean you can't get your faction tokens. Go up to Mountain Home and run the PvP missions. 3 a day is 15,000 tokens.
Hell yeah. Good deal. And you, Wolf?
I haven't had a chance to really play much of anything, but when I have been playing, I've jumped into New World and have gone around and done some crafting and whatnot because the jobs are fun. And it takes me around Aeternum to go see some places that I haven't been able to see in a while because we've been busy blitzing out those dungeons and whatnot. But I'm going to get back into doing a bit of both here in just a few days, so that'll be awesome.
Good deal. As for myself, I've been playing a hell of a lot of Star Citizen stuff this week because obviously for Invictus Week and been getting into a lot of different things, but I got my Twitch drops for the PvP reward for this week. And for anybody who's watching now, you should be able to also get the Twitch drops for the event right now by watching our stream. So click on the stuff, link your account, and get your Twitch drops. We'll be talking a little bit more about that coming up. And I'm excited. I think when we're done with the show, we're gonna go run some dungeons and get some shit done. You guys down for it, or who knows? Maybe we'll hop into Star Citizen or Elite or Nomansky or I don't know, do whatever. But I'm feeling it. I'm feeling like doing some stuff and yeah. We've got some really good stuff to talk about of what's coming up. So let's hop right into it. Let's start off with the New World Forums had the May 2022 update PTR round 4. So I'm going to post a copy of the link right now in the show notes for everybody. So you're watching live on Twitch or on YouTube. You can get that right here and follow along or read to your own content. I'm not going to break this down. We're going to do sort of a quick and dirty show this week and focus mostly on the dev update, but I do want to sort of go over this and just acknowledge this. This dropped just a couple of days ago. I think it was on Thursday. There was a whole host of changes made to the PTR. Now, first off, with regard to there were a ton, like 30 plus arena fixes. Most of them were around consumables, or this thing wasn't showing up right. There was a typo here, there was a misspelling there, there was this consumable needed to be adjusted up to that time rate, etc., etc. There were various general fixes to just general playable in the game. Most notably, I want to say there was you were having AoE attacks that were getting backstab critical bonus modifiers. And there were various other general ones, but that was the big one that I wanted to sort of call out. Mechanics wise, they fixed the light dodge roll. They made it back to its proper distance, and they're saying, hey, it was a mistake that it was lowered. A lot of this stuff we talked about last week actually on the show, but they're officially putting it out in the notes now, so we're talking about it in the notes now. With regard to perks, there were various changes, most notably the insatiable gravity well had yet another unintended buff for it that was now removed, so it is a nerf, but it wasn't ever designed to have this. It was literally, if you had the perk Insatiable Gravity Well on a piece of armor, you were somehow getting that perk to give additional damage when you were using something other than the Great Axe. So you would have the Great Axe sheath, you would have out the hatchet or the bow or something, and somehow that perk was screwing up and causing extra bonus damage to your other weapon. That has now been fixed. There were various changes to weapons, most notably continued to make adjustments to the blow and blunderbuss, but various other ones as well. For the economy, they fixed various crafted items, appearances, and perks. Let's see here. Adjustment to PvP track rewards. Okay, there were various adjustments to PvP track rewards. They fixed a whole host of reward and loot issues, and they fixed multiple expedition bugs. Raffle bones now will no longer be a guaranteed spawn. So the way that it used to be is, like when they took the servers down and they pulled it up, Raffle bones was a guaranteed spawn at his locations, and then somebody would come and kill him, and then it would be a semi-fixed, semi-variable a sort of a range of time where he would spawn back in. But no longer is it a guarantee that he's just going to spawn until someone kills him and then wait on the repop. It's a matter of he'll be at various places at various times. There were a whole host of UI, social, and audio fixes that were made. So that is the week 4 PTR changes. So these are ones that you can expect to be reflected in the overall May patch when it drops. Wolf, what do you think?
So, a lot of these great needed to happen kind of things, but I'm seeing a span of things here. Not just like big things, and that's what we're gonna focus on for getting our bug fixes in and things like that. I'm seeing lots of little down in the weeds, like especially that weird ass Gravwell one. Like that shows that there's a team of people working on this, and that team of people has in their wickets of what they need to do. Hey, here's the big list of stuff, and oh, by the way, here's some weird shit that I don't know if a player was the one that caught that or what, but like they're covering the gamut of just big stuff to little stuff to like making the things look right, because all these little things, it's like, oh, that's annoying or whatnot, but it leaves a bad taste, a bad sentiment or whatnot. They're squashing all of these things, and it's fucking fantastic.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Sword?
I really applaud them. I do kind of wish that they had immediately come out on the forums and said, we understand that it appears that there are some additional nerfs that have occurred unintentionally to the dodge roll early on. That way they That way there could have been a little bit more tempered impression of the nerfs and not gotten the massive response from the community it got earlier.
I'll
But
be
it-
honest with you, Sword. I'm a little skeptical hippo eye on that. I'm glad that they're rolling it back, but the fact that they somehow tweaked and adjusted the distance that you light roll down, I don't see how that's a bug. I think that has to be an intentional, someone made a move, there was an outcry, and now they're going, oh no, we never even meant to do that, and rolling it back. And you know what? Hey, whatever. I don't care, man. So long as you make it right, I don't care how PR-wise you want to play it. But, like, I kind of feel like there's no way that was a bug. You guys made a change. It was wildly unpopular, and you listened and rolled it back, and now you're claiming you never made the change. Whatever.
So after the notes came out, I can't remember where I saw this. I wish I had saved the link and linked it. But apparently it had something to do with after you got a slow effect, that slow effect was still affecting the dodges.
Okay.
Even once it had disengaged.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well-
that's weird.
Yeah. For whatever reason, it's now fixed. Huzzah! Right?
Correct.
Okay. So let's now hop into the next thing. This is very, very brief. I'm going to post a copy of the link right now in the live chat for everyone to enjoy. Here is, again, an article from the forums, New World forums, behind the scenes expedition mutators. So in this article, they discuss the philosophy, design decisions, balance choices, rewards, etc., all about how they look to do mutators, how they've done mutators, how they're looking to make changes in the future to mutators, etc., etc., etc. It's a very good read. I highly recommend everybody check it out. They get down into the weeds and some of the decisions that they make and some of the things where it's like, well, we thought this, but now we think that, or we like this when it was first introduced, but in the future we want to spice it up by doing that, etc. It's good stuff. Check it out. And now we get to the meat of the show, which is, let's see here, the New World PvP update. I did not grab the link for that. Let me grab the link for it right now. Give me 1 second, guys. Real quick, let me Sword first, and then Wolf. Your thoughts and impressions with regard to this article, with regard to design decisions, and just in general, how you feel, you know, what they're doing with mutators and whatnot, and maybe some things that you would like to see.
Just off the top, I've enjoyed the mutators I've gone through. I really appreciate that they're taking the time to detail out what they're doing and why they're doing it, especially in a dedicated article like this.
Mhm.
I still think there's a room for improvement, especially on the accessibility side, but that really comes down to the gear score and end game argument.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Sword or Wolf, rather. Jesus.
I mean, we'll leave the gear score discussion aside because that's, you know, it's kind of the thing that's in there to make you get good and whatnot. But let's be perfectly honest. There's only so many dungeons that you can do, and once you get used to just rolling them, they can get boring. The thing that the mutators do is it adds that X factor in where you're going to probably have to change what you're doing. Maybe not you, but somebody on the team does, and that's going to add a level of dynamic to the dungeon that you didn't have except for when you were early on learning how to play it and learning the different strategies and whatnot. So this, like I've said it before, I'll say it again. I love things that break up the meta. This is a meta-breaking thing for that particular dungeon, for that particular time period that particular mutator scheme is running. It's variety, and it's awesome. And some of them are damned frustrating, and some of them you can just be like, okay, yeah, that doesn't matter so much to me, and you just roll with it. But it makes you think. It makes you not just treat it like any dungeon run again, and that is awesome.
Very cool. Very cool. Good stuff. All right. Right now in the show notes, in the live stream chat, here is the link to the dev video. You can check it out. It's in Twitch and in YouTube chat. So they did put out a dev video. They do it every month. This is the dev diary for May, so it's talking largely about the stuff that is coming in May and the stuff that is coming in June. It was half an hour long. They talked about various things. We're going to run through their agenda piece by piece. First, they talked about the 3v3 PvP arena. They talked about that they're going to be doing matchmaking by level band by the highest level player. So, for example, if everyone in your group is between 20 and 29, they're going to put you in the 20 to 30 bracket. If everybody is 30 to 39, you'll be in that bracket, etc., etc. The bracket will be decided by the highest level person in your group. So if two level 20s for some reason decide to party up with a level 60, well, they're screwing themselves because they're going to be matched up in the level 60 bracket. They talk about the provided consumables, no durability damage during the arena matches. They've added an arena announcer providing play-by-play, call-outs. So you're going to hear somebody screaming at you while you do the match like, oh, he took it, oh, and this guy died, and oh, that's cool. They talked about the reward tracks for the arenas and for open world and outpost rush. So there's two basic rewards. There's PvP XP and Salt. The PvP XP is what unlocks your tracks, and each track dictates the items that you can purchase with the Salt. So XP unlocks higher level of reward brackets, and within those brackets, you have to pay for each reward with the Salt. It's your PvP currency. These rewards include gear, consumables, etc. So what do you guys think about the PvP arena rework, the stuff that they've added, and etc., and the reward track stuff? Hop on in.
So it definitely offers a new way to do PvP. I like that they're putting in level bracketing, which they had to do something. I think later, after there's the tracking of rewards and how much PvP you've done and how successful or not successful you've been, I think that is a great candidate to replace that system. But of course, right now that's not in play. So here's something to open it up to everyone, and then again, not have a group of 20s doing something, get paired up with just a group of 60s. And well, if they had a 60 with them in the first place, they brought them on itself. So there's that.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Right on. Sword?
I'm really looking forward to this update. I think we're going to see a lot of new and exciting content, and almost more importantly, some weapon balancing coming out of it.
Well, we're going to talk about that.
I do kind of wish that you didn't just get the Azoth salt directly from the activities. You get the tiers of your enemies, and you had to go to the Arcana stand and boil it and evaporate it off to get the salt.
All right. Hot take. Speaking of weapon balancing, they touted the major bow rework, which, a lot of people are super, super excited for. And they have, I can confirm from seeing it play out on the PTR, for sure, the bow rebalances, if anything, a little bit overly strong. Right now, all of the changes to Great Axe are, if anything, just slightly a little overdone with all of the Gravwell nerfs. But Great Axe is still in a really good place because of it pairs so well with the Warhammer. So it's still strong, but if anything, the Great Axe side of that, it used to be Great Axe was OP. Warhammer was OP. It's two great tastes in one. Now, Great Axe is pretty well balanced. Warhammer is still OP. So, there's that. And I can confirm with regard to Blunderbuss, the one-shot Blunderbuss meta, having been fully tested on the PTR, is pretty much completely extinct. It doesn't work anymore unless somebody sort of really screws up and allows themselves to be killed. So those are some big changes that have happened. You guys want to hop in on this?
I'm really glad to see that blunderbuss macro one-shot kill thing is going away. That was infuriating, to say the least, running into that the times that I have jumped into OPR. Just as a group, hey, let's get the Ruby Gypsum and do whatever. Like, it's fun to go around, and I'm no good at PvP, I'll wholly admit that right now. But, trade some blows with whoever, but to have somebody jump up behind you and just, bam, you're dead. It's like, well, that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad to see that frustration is gone, as I'm sure many other people are as well.
Sword?
I have to echo what Wolf was saying. The one-shot ability in a game where everything else takes so much time to kill is this was the number one thing that needed to be quashed in this upcoming update.
Right on. So next up, they talked about the mutators. The new mutator that's coming in May is the Depths. The new mutation types are Overgrown, which are nature damage based. They include toxic pools of poison, and Compost, which is basically whenever you kill a trash mob, where his body died left, it provides a buff to any of the other, a buff and a heal to any of the other trash mobs that are in the area. Barbaric, which is physical damage based, which grants some of your enemies Berserk, which obviously gives them sort of an empower, and Shattering, which gives them additional stamina damage, and Fiendish, which is a nocturnal or like gothy, like ooh, vampire, spooky based buff, which gives Weary, which is a rend on your party members, as well as Blood Offering, which is a stacking damage over time. The mutator stuff I thought was really good. I'm excited for more mutators to come out. I would like all dungeons to come, all of the existing dungeons, which they only have a couple left. Let's see, we've got Amrine doesn't have one, Starstone doesn't have one. Now, that's pretty much it. After Starstone is the Depths, right? Am I missing one?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Nope, you're in the right order.
Yep, after Starstone is the Depths, and that has it as of May. After the Depths is Dynasty, which already has it. After Dynasty is Genesis, which has it, then Laz, which has it, and then Tempest, which has it. So yeah, there's only 2 more dungeons to add the Mutator to, and if they continue with the way they've been doing it, the next one that they add will be Starstone, which I think will be very, very cool, because that's a very cool dungeon. I think adding in these new, prefixes, suffixes, affixes, whatever you want to call it, to these dungeons is very, very cool. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see what super buffed Thorpe does, because even regular level 40s Thorpe can still kill Swordsmith.
Yeah, rather epically too. Right in the ending throes of his life, he was able to just knock him out.
You're never gonna let me live that down, are you?
In fairness,
Nope.
Wolf, I think they're lovers, and I think that they were meant to go together. I think that was the thing.
Maybe it's truly a romantic love story.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, the fact that they're putting the mutators on these quote unquote earlier lower level dungeons, it's awesome, because when's the last time we actually ran Amrine or Starstone or even the Depths just because we wanted to do it, not because somebody in the party needed it for whatever. It's like, yeah, okay, let's just go face roll that. I will be interested to see, because with mutators comes different drops. Right now, we've been running Tempest to get the Blackguard stuff, which my god, they're awesome. Except for what was that one hammer you found that I still wish I had? Calamitous Intent or something like that.
Yep.
I want to see not one dungeon have the good stuff, even if it is something arguably the same, but it drops in this other dungeon. Well, that's another dungeon we can go run to go get. Yeah, it's called something different, but it does basically the same damn thing, or is only minorly different. So it's might as well be BIS for whoever's doing whatever. And it's going to change it up and get people to go back to those other areas and run those other dungeons and keep that, little zone around there invigorated with people constantly doing their stuff.
I think you're absolutely right. And to call back to your calling out the great love story that is Thorpe and Swordsmith, it definitely calls back some of the greatest love stories throughout all of history. I'm talking about Romeo and Juliet, Paris and Helen, Cleopatra and Mark Antony, Hadrian and Antonius, Henry II and Rosamund Clifford, AOC and Tucker Carlson, all of the great love stories of the world, really. Sword, what are your thoughts with regard to the depths and mutators coming?
Oh, I couldn't find a song for this. I'm disappointed. But in general, I am really looking forward to having another dungeon to run. Goodness knows, I am sick and tired of running Laz.
All right.
And Wolf is right. It will be interesting to see what happens when they upgrade some of the lower level weapons. See what new perks they give.
Hell yeah. Good stuff. All right. Next up, they talked about a little something we talked about last week on the show. The Viringian Knights. They called it out. They said, hey, there's new encampments. It's content level that starts at 25 and goes to 30 plus. So basically you can expect it to tip out somewhere in the 34 region. So the next installment will start at 35 and go into the 40s. They said this is the next of many episodes of the Viringian Knights. There are 3 new POIs and a massive new encampment. As we said last week, the 4 new enemy types: the Crusher, which is a Warhammer player; the Spearman, which is a spear; the Hound, which, is a dog, but it has haste auto; and the Mage, which is a fire staff user. They use player abilities and fighting styles. As, again, all of this stuff is stuff we brought to your attention last week, and now they're openly talking about it, and it's coming in 10 days, so, or less than, 9 days, so I'm super, super psyched. They also talked about that there's the quest for the second episode is granted by Abigail Rhodes. She's just outside of the new Viringian Knights war camp called Sorcerer's Delve in Everfall. So I know the day this patch drops, I'm going to go look up Abigail, and I'm going to go through this episode of the story, because the story is amazing. The quest stuff is really, really cool and new and interesting. And those of you who are looking for where New World is going in the future with its quest and level design, this is the answer, and I'm here for it. Sword, what do you think?
Looking forward to it. Admittedly, when I leveled up, I didn't really pay much attention to the story because I was blitzing. But I'm certainly going to be taking the time to read out the notes, and if there are any cutscenes, watch them too.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Wolf.
I hope there's cutscenes. I really hope there's cutscenes. That was the best part of Tempest.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
As for the mobs and stuff, maybe I'm just weird. I'm looking forward to those hastened hounds. One, I can get skinning done on them, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
2, when's the last time you went up against either the corrupted hounds or the wolves that are in the game and whatnot? You're like, yep, you're dead. Yep, you're dead. These guys can jump around a little quicker, and because they have the haste on, that might actually prove to be a little bit more of a challenge to get positioned and dodge them rushing at you and whatnot, and add a little bit of life to that.
I mean, definitely at level. We're gonna out level this stuff by a good bit.
Oh yeah,
but it's
no,
a
they're
nice...
definitely going to be that.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Next up, they talked about a bunch of upcoming events and things that they have. Number one, the paid transfers are already in game. You can transfer same region or inter-region. It's live, and people are loving them. They're very, very happy with the feedback on that. They had a couple of bugs to work out right at the beginning, but they got that sorted. Next, there is the Combat Academy series. So there is Play New World has created a guide series. So it's guides, short tutorials, long tutorials, whatever. And they have created a playlist where people are submitting their stuff, and you can go online and you can just put in hashtag Academy Combat Academy series if you want to check like through Twitch or whatever, or Instagram or fucking Twitter or all of the whatever the fucks. But you can also, they're compiling this stuff, and they are making a like a playlist, a curated playlist in YouTube. Here's the link to it. You can go click on it and check out all the stuff. Next, they talk about the Devs versus Content Creators weekly series, 3 extended weekends that start on Thursday and go through Sunday. There's 1 loot crate each week. So the way that it works is on the Thursday, you can only get the drops from one of the 3 content creators that is going up against the devs. So they're streaming their stuff on Thursday. Then after that, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it becomes unlocked for the masses, including this channel. We as New World streamers, right now, if you have your shit linked and you're watching this, you are running up the clock to get your rewards. So there's 1 loot crate each week, 3 in total you can collect. Each full round of it will include one of the crates, and those crates include PvP items such as gears, consumables, and salt. Those 3 events, the first one happened on May 12th, Thursday. So for Thursday, you could only get it from the content creators that were fighting. The whole rest of the weekend, you could get it from any New World content creator that was signed up. The second round started on May 19th. So this Thursday, that was just a couple days ago, 4 days ago. You could only get it from the guys that were in the fight. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, including now, you can get it from any of the creators, including us. Next week, again, Thursday, there'll be 3 content creators that are fighting in the PvP versus the devs. Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you'll be able to get it from any of the signed up content creators, including us. So the way this plays out is when the May patch drops and these crates are put into the game, you will all of a sudden have however many of the crates you have earned. So for people like myself, who got the first one, got the second one, and is going to get the third one, on the day of the drop, maybe it'll take an extra day, sometimes, working out all the shit, whatever. But very shortly on the drop or very shortly after the drop, you will suddenly have 3 little loot crates in your fucking inventory. And you'll pop them and get your stuffs. How about we stop there and get opinions? Wolf?
I think it's interesting with the topics of conversation revolving around what those crates are, how to get them, blah, blah, blah. It's cool that they've got the engagement, but if anybody thinks you're going to get anything, game breaking or whatnot, you're barking up the wrong tree. What they have in the boxes as possibilities is cool, and the fact that it's like, hey, watch these particular ones, and then later, if for your IRL reasons you couldn't do it, here's a time span at which you can do it. It's awesome. It's community engagement done right, and maybe you get something that's objectively kind of neat. Maybe you just get a bunch of stuff that you're gonna not use. Who knows? But either way, it's engagement. It gives you something. You get back into the game to see what it is and do with it as you please.
Hell yeah. Sword?
I think there's a reason that people run dungeons for their bis weapons rather than count on random drops out of boxes and even crafting.
I think it's the love affair with Thorpe. I think we covered that earlier in the show.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to let me live that down, are you? I know I
Never.
already said that.
Never, ever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, I'll have to get a new reputation in this channel.
Wow. You heard
But
it
yeah.
here first. Sword don't give a damn about his bad reputation. Never mind. Go ahead.
But just echoing what Wolf said, I don't see any issue or any. Maybe there's one person who got a epic piece of gear. I'm happy for them.
So
For the rest of us,
go ahead.
for the rest of us, it's just going to be repair parts.
100%. The fact remains, you absolutely could get something game breaking from this. As far as like you could get an absolute bis piece. Math is not in your favor on that one, pal. And on top of that, it's 3 weeks. It's 3 little reward loot crates. Each loot crate gives you 5 or 6 things. 1 or 2 of those are going to be gear if you're lucky. And the shot of 1 or 2 of those being a bis piece is 1 in 10,000. If you happen to get a bis piece, though, so what? Mazel tov. I don't understand people that get butt hurt over this shit. It's a loot crate. It's going to be available for you to purchase as you go up through the different levels and buy. Like when you get promotions and shit, you're going to get these exact same crates.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that big a deal. Enjoy it. It's a free gift. If you don't get anything good, so what? You got repair parts and you got consumables and you got salt. Enjoy it. Buy shit that you want. Next, they talk about, and they did not give any real details on this, but they said they have an upcoming PvP open world event. And that during this event, some of the people, including Brittany, who is their, she was the little Asian lady in that part of the panel. She's their new, like, how do you say it? Like forum manager, she's the community manager that specifically is the boss of the forum part of the community management team. You have the other lady who conducts these dev streams that she's their like on camera PR person. And then they've got the dude that handles like over for Amazon Game Studios as a whole, that he's the old guy that used to do the videos that he now handles. Like he's her boss and does both New World and what's the last fucking what? I don't know, the Asian one, the Korean one that just came over here that everybody's nuts about, or was, and now everybody hates. Somebody help me. Lost Ark. That's it. Yes. And then you have the little Asian lady who is the like the forum manager, whatever. So anyways, her and this other dude who is part of like the player experience team are going to be in some way popping into different worlds at different times, and they're going to be publicizing it like, hey, we're going to be in Pluto Friday at noon Eastern or whatever. And we'll have at that point more of an idea of what these events are going to be, but it's going to be open world PvP events, and including various members of the Amazon Game Studios New World development staff that are going to be taking part on various worlds. So that's cool. Let's get your thoughts on that real quick, because the next one we're going to hop into has a couple pieces to it and it gets a little in depth. Wolf?
So it's always going to be fun to see how the devs, staff, whoever, quote unquote, people who work for AGS on New World plays the game.
Mm.
There's always the historical thing of, the devs can do whatever, and you might have one or two people who could play the game, pretty good, if not well, but that's an outlier. It's always the players who play the game better. So if it's gonna be like a PvP thing, I think at some point there needs to be like a matchup for one, just AGS versus the players in an absolute bloodbath to see what'll happen, because that's just going to be nothing but hot takes of lols on anybody's stream, YouTube video, screen recording, whatever that they want to do. And then maybe something a little more structured with possibly trying out a couple new thoughts on mechanics and whatnot, just as sort of a not in the PTR test.
Okay.
That could be cool.
Cool.
But it's, all up in the air. Who knows? I'm sure that it's going to be an absolute blast, whatever the hell it is.
Who knows these days? Swordsmith?
I'm looking forward to seeing how they handle it. I'm also I am really hoping that they do pull out the
Whoa.
innate advantages of being a developer.
Okay, so they've specifically addressed that and said they're not doing that. And in addition to that, let me just give you advice as an on-air personality, as someone who is broadcasting on any type of medium. You definitely don't want to start with, I wonder if they're going to whip out, and then have an extended pause, because that is just inviting disaster, my friend. All right.
I'm sure there'll be memes posted later.
Yes. Next up, we talk about the XP Extravaganza. Now, we posted on the forums, in the Discord rather, where we talk about, hey, Brittany just got her Twitch drop. Congrats. They posted in the forums an update, and I posted it in our Discord, where it had eggs, it had 2x, those eggs had stamps on them of various things, and we were like, hey, there's going to be another XP Extravaganza weekend happening soon, and based on this, it looks like it's weapons and gathering and crafting. Well, they announced that there's going to be no big June update. So the way we're having a May update, they're taking a month off from doing that. But instead, what they are going to be doing is the weekly updates are going to be larger. So the way that they've been doing it, where on the content time, they do a big test, and then, they do big extended weekly updates to the patch notes on the PTR, and we get little teeny tiny weekly live patches. I think they're going to continue to do that, but on the bug fix weeks, on the weeks where they're just doing tweaks and bug fix and balance and bots and all that stuff, on the bug fix months, which June is slated to be one of those. For those, what they're intending to do, I believe, they haven't explicitly stated it yet, but I believe what they intend to do with those is not do a big month patch, but instead do bigger weekly patch. Because if you're doing bug fixes, right, it feels like a little bit of a miss to have a bug that's been annoying the shit out of you for the last 3 months, and to see them say in the patch notes that they fixed the bug, but you're not going to get that fix for another month. Like, you're not going to get that fix for another 3 weeks till the end of the month. It feels like, they didn't explicitly say it, but it feels to me like what they're intending to do is change that so that on the new content cycle, on the new content month, we get a whole PTR and a lot of testing. On the live, on the bug fix month only, we get much more bite-sized, tested bug fixes that they just implement right to live. But they said that the thought process in doing that, we were like, well, we don't want players, though, to think there's no big monthly update. So we don't want them to be like bummed and lose interest or whatever. So we decided we're going to do XP extravaganzas. So if what all they're doing, as I suspect, is switching the cycle to where we get our bug fixes 3 weeks earlier, had it been in the round 1 than we would have at the end of the month. And on top of that, they're rewarding us with these XP extravaganzas. I honestly see this personally as just fucking win-win-win. Now, during the month of June, they said they're going to have... Now, they didn't... Here's the thing. They didn't explicitly say all of June. Last time it was just on a weekend, but it was only one weekend. This time they said it is for June. So I don't know if... And we'll get more details as this progresses. I don't know if this is... for the whole month of June, this is in effect, or if for the whole month of June, this is in effect on weekends. And the way they define weekends is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's every weekend is a 3-day weekend because it starts on Friday. But for June, we will get double XP on refining, gathering, including fishing this time, and weapon XP. So,
Nice.
yeah. Your guys' thoughts on that?
So,
go ahead.
I have one part of this that I'm not a fan of.
All right.
And it's just because I have seen, hey, we fixed a simple bug, and AGS has been guilty of this one too. We fixed a simple bug, but it had some unintended consequences because we just pushed it to the live.
Okay.
Is it a bummer to have to wait 3 weeks to a month to get a bug fix in? Absolutely. If there was a way that they have that they're internally vetting it and like making sure that it's not going to have an unintended consequence, 100% big fan. We found the bug. We figured out the fix. We're going to implement the fix and everything's going to be good. And then this isn't anything that somebody has to worry about anymore. Big fan. Awesome.
Let me give you a counterpoint.
But
Let me give you a counterpoint. They didn't explicitly say how they're going to implement this. What if the way they're going to do it is we put in a round of bug fixes, it's on the PTR for a week, we collect feedback. Then we put in another, then we implement it into live. Then next round, then, you know what I mean? What if they do it like that?
yeah, big, huge thumbs up to that. Just because it looks bad when, hey, we were going to fix this stupidly simple thing, but it like broke 19 other things in the process due to whatever. It's like, you have a PTR, even if it's on an abbreviated schedule, just put it on there and make sure it works. And then if something happens between the PTR and live, okay, fine, we get it that has happened a time or two. Just to avoid the foot in mouth syndrome that you could possibly run into with, hey, we fixed a bunch of things and oh, that was not good. Just that's my only concern. Everything else, oh, it sounds great, especially the thing with fishing. My fishing's been stuck at 100 because I didn't see the need to take that to 200 yet. And if I can get a boost in doing it, I think I'm gonna go find a nice little fishing hole and grab a cooler and some beer and just go chill out. Sword?
I definitely get where you're coming from. I think there's a danger recently with the recent changes involving the AoE. I think that there's a potential that they balanced certain weapons and abilities around around these previously considered not to be bugs, and now they're going to have to look at them. I definitely hope
sure.
they have. I definitely hope that they have that PTR for that reason.
Well, they do have a history in proving time and time again that after they fix something, they don't leave it done and dusted. They actually go back and look to see if everything did what it was supposed to do. I'm kind of fully expecting that they might actually give us back a little bit with the Gravwell stuff. Just because, like with the weird ass one where it's like you're not using a great axe, but it's proccing the Gravwell things. That's weird. And maybe that factored in on some of the calculations and whatever databasing and spreadsheets they have. We don't know. That's all behind the scenes, but we will find out exactly what needs to be done, and then they'll go off and do their thing, and we'll get our hands on it, and then they'll just keep tweaking it and keeping the game fun and awesome.
That is a absolute plus with regard to AGS. They keep tweaking things, and when it's not, there are some studios who say, hey, we made a change to this, and then they don't ever touch it again. These guys are not that. These guys are fairly agile with their development cycles, and they put something in. Now, that agility definitely comes with a cost. They have definitely had the experience of making too fast a change without checking everything thoroughly and carefully and creating other problems, for sure. But I think they're doing a good job with sort of PTR and using that to get feedback and to finding where they're making mistakes and fixing those mistakes before they ever hit live 90% of the time now. So, yeah, that's gratifying. All right. Next up, they had some stats. They talk about, first off, player killers. Since the Tempest dropped, Nashatoon has been the #1 killer of players with 400,000 plus deaths. They said it's near 500,000. Isabella has been the #2 with over 200,000 plus deaths. Keep in mind, Isabella at the #2 slot is under half of what Nashatoon is at the #1 spot. Does this come as a surprise to anyone? I think, honestly, if you take this same poll at the end of the year, you're going to find Isabella has passed up Nashatoon, because I think that while Nashatoon isn't easy, he is far more consistent now. Isabella is not necessarily harder, but she's massively more inconsistent. Sometimes she's just a face roll, and other times she just puts your dick in the dirt. Yeah.
They've definitely gone through Nashatoon and fixed some of the oddities, we'll call them, with his mechanics. I think Isabella is a prime candidate for that next, just to help with the consistency and not really predictability of her, but it is more than annoying when she just stops and stands in the middle of the red where you can't do anything with her unless you're ranged. And, well, none of us in the group really have that much for top tier range DPS. So it's like, all right, we're going to stand here and wait.
Yep.
And then she just does whatever procs and whatnot to us and beats us down that way, and there's not a damn thing we can do about it.
So the next stat that they have is fastest M10s. So fastest Mutator 10 finish times. Dynasty, 21 minutes and 48 seconds. Genesis, 13 minutes and 1 second. Laz, 19 minutes and 7 seconds. Tempest, 27 minutes and 12 seconds. Holy shit. Any thoughts you guys have on some of those times? Like, some of those times are like, okay, you're skipping everything. You're not looting shit. You're skipping every optional thing. You're just running to the boss and bringing shit with you. Like, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Genesis in 13 minutes. How Genesis in 13 minutes? How?
I'm looking at that Tempest number. It's like, holy crap. Even if you skip everything, there's still parts of that dungeon that just take forever. It's like, I got to watch a video and see what the hell they're doing.
So what they're clearly doing is they're not doing a single pack. What they're doing is pull like 4 packs, skip looting, skip everything, pull like 4 packs to one spot, kill them, pull the next 4 packs to the boss, kill him with the boss, and you know, rinse repeat. It's crazy. It's still, yeah. Tempest 2712 is like, Jesus, there's so many, like, what, just running it, even if you didn't stop to fight, takes that long. But yeah. All right, next up they had the community team section with Phil, Dave, and Dave. We're going to run through these questions one at a time, and I'm going to get your feedback on each. What did the team learn, or just hop in if you have anything to add. If you don't, we'll just move on and get this done. What did the team learn from the Rabbit's Revenge event? They said, well, they have 2 types of events in their mind. The major events, like the Christmas event, and minor events, like Turkey Long and Rabbit's Revenge. The big takeaway in future events for the minor events is they want to do a better job of making it clear on event progression so that you have an idea, you know, where you're at with things. And the guy also said, he didn't come out and say it explicitly, but he basically talked around it in a way that leads you to very clearly draw the inference that this is a thing. He said, and he also basically wanted it to be that if you put in the time, you're going to get the complete. I think there were many people, myself included, who put in more than enough time, who killed multiple thousands of rabbits and did not get the chest. I'm not going to lose any sleep or cry over it. It is what it is. But I think from a marketing, PR, community management standpoint, that's not a great look. And I think they picked up on that maybe for the next one, there'll be some kind of hidden counter or some kind of where they just tell you flat out, hey, man, if you kill 800 rabbits, you get the damn thing on the 800th kill no matter what. You know, whatever. I don't know. Thoughts on this, guys?
Completely agree. It was a big lost opportunity.
Okay. It was interesting to, like, I went over Rabbit Island and was just fucking around, killing what was there, not even really paying attention. Didn't 100% all the kills. You know, had some people run through and, you know, reset the rabbits, quote unquote. But I was able to get it, and I was like, okay, cool. This is what it takes. And then hearing other people in the group, it's like, yeah, I've spent hours upon hours just annihilating rabbits and never got it like that. I like you, Kai, thought that maybe that they were going to tick up the percentage likelihood of it being given out as it went on, and that didn't happen. So that would have been a nice behind the scenes way of making sure that everybody who wanted to get on it could get in on it. There's definitely some sentiment that I've seen of people who were, you know, in the grand scheme of things, is it like a huge difference that I have a box that can hold 50 more than you? No.
Actually, you don't.
It's a thing that people wanted.
Actually, you don't.
And
my boxes hold the same amount as yours. I just don't have the cool little rabbit thing. The rabbit holds the exact same amount as the cursed chest.
Well, then there you go. It's people wanted the thing for the look.
Yep.
And only the look at that point.
Yep.
And some people got it. Some people that have absolutely no care about decorating, like me, got it. Yeah. So it was a missed opportunity, and I'm glad to see that it looks like they've learned from it.
Next question. What progress is being made on Dsync? So they said the Dsync team is still going hard. They have a whole host of minor and major fixes, and they're trying to get in the vast majority of them for the May patch, in the end, for May. But they are also, the Dsync team is still a separate setup, like they're a task force that are working on that issue and finding it in as many things as they can. The one thing they specifically called out that they don't think they're going to have licked in time for the May patch is the one with the Vorpal sword. They're working on that for the gauntlet, void gauntlet, that little void sword thing. That's still causing some desync stuff there, but they are working on it. Thoughts? All right. Are there any changes coming to make crafting more viable? They agree that crafting is underperforming right now. They're looking to bring in gathering, refining, crafting, the leveling process more in line with each other. So right now, most gatherings you level much faster than most refinings. Most refinings you level much faster than most craftings. Some gatherings, like I've definitely heard from people, I didn't have a problem with it, but I've definitely heard from people that, holy shit, logging was a rough one for a lot of people to level up that gathering. Fishing, for sure. So they're looking to sort of level those out within their brackets and then try to generally level them out with some variance, some delta, depending on the step-ups between gathering, refining, and crafting. In addition, also they feel that it's too expensive to craft now, and they're looking on how to get this better under control. This is more of a deep dive issue. It's not for May, but it's on the chalkboard, and they're digging into it, and they're trying to figure out ways to attack that particular process. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'll tell you my opinion is I don't mind how hard it is to level your shit. I ignore that. It's a process. You have to do it. I've done it for every last thing in the game, including furniture making, which was twice as hard as anything else. I don't mind so much how much it costs. Crafting high-level shit should be a difficult process. What I personally mind is that you are such at the whim of RNGesus that if you level your shit to the very top and get all of the clothes and get all of the trophies at the highest levels and use the top level food and get every last buff and every last whatever possible, you still only have a 1 in 100 chance of crafting anything remotely usable because of the way that RNGesus works on all of the perks and the shit. Now, I'm not a game designer. I'm not going to tell them how to fix their game. I'm just going to tell them that it feels bad. If you go through all of the process for leveling, and all of the process for getting the top materials, and all of the process for getting the trophies, and all of the process for getting the clothes, and all of the process for getting the foods, and the best buffs, and the best everything, and still, I hardly ever craft shit, even for myself. I just buy it off the market board, because the fact of the matter is it's going to cost me 15 times the cost of buying it off the market board to just fucking buy it when all of the RNGesus bullshit is behind me. That's my gripe, and I hope they look at that. But it seems to me like they're missing the forest for the trees, and they're focusing on all the shit that I don't give a fuck about. Your thoughts, Sword?
Completely agree. We said it earlier in this show, referring to the boxes that people are getting from the Twitch drops. People aren't, and I said the same thing goes for crafting. People aren't going to crafting with these boxes for BIS weapons. They're looking it up in New World Database, finding the guy that drops it, and then going and hitting them in the head 100 times.
Mm-hmm. Wolf?
If crafting was...
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
If crafting was more viable, people wouldn't necessarily need to be doing the grind, and people would go more for the crafting.
Mm-hmm.
There'd be more of it.
Wolf.
Yeah, so with logging in particular, my playtime lines up with apparently that with everybody else who decides I want to go do logging and get that done. Material resource scarcity is a huge thing when it comes to logging. You only get so much for young trees, and then you can finally get mature trees, and then you're in for the long haul of getting weirdwood trees, and then after that you can finally get ironwood trees. The end result is if anybody wants to go out and either work on going to the next step up, they're only targeting the current tree that they can cut because it actually gives a respectable amount of XP, and by comparison, the lesser trees just don't. And there's only so many of them around. We just saw with what was it, Orichalcum, and what else that they're putting in, more
Star
locations,
Meadow.
quicker spawn times, that kind of thing. It's like it is a very, very, very in demand thing to go and gather those resources, and it will continue to be. On your point, Kai, there you've done all the things, and I mean literally all the things to set yourself up for success. A 1 in 100% chance of it actually working the way you want it to. Oof.
Big oof.
Especially when you're making certain things and the resources needed for the crafting itself, just to get, 1 or 2, let alone 10 of them, is
Thousands.
a hell of an amount of work on your part just to do. So if you have gone through and you have leveled up all your stuff and you have the top tier trophy, food, clothing, all that, I don't think it should be a I win button, but it should be better than a 1% chance of actually doing the thing you set out to do in the first place. That's just a ball kick.
I see it. I feel like it should be maybe somewhere between 1 in 3 to 1 in 5. So I would like to see it be more built around you lock in the perks that you want. So you know you're going to get basically the attributes and the perks right. But now you have that 495 to 500, or sorry, 595 to 600, which means, that is where, well, see, that doesn't work either, because if you do that, then everybody's going to go, I'm only going to make 1. Oh, it only came out at 595? Cool, I'll umbrel it up. But I guess it still works, because if you umbrel it up, you're not going to be guaranteed that last perk. I don't know, man. I'm not a game dev. I'm not telling them how to make their game. I'm just telling them what feels bad, and that feels bad. All right.
One thing
Go ahead.
On Wolf's thing quickly about the trees. The simple fact of the matter is, if you look on the market board, wood is cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's used for relatively little in the crafting field. The fact is, the scarcity isn't driven by the market, which I think helped made it clear for the devs when they were looking at Orichalcum and Star Metal. It's driven by the fact that everybody is constantly chopping trees.
It's why. Here's the reason why, though, Sword. You half got it right on that, on your explanation. The half that you missed, the half that you didn't say, which is the half that is relevant to why it's so hard for Wolf to get his goddamn ironwood trees every day, is that because Orichalcum has been a pain in the balls, because skinning is just a pain in the balls, you need a larger amount to get it going. People have been chopping down the trees every day, not because they need to level, not because they need the trees, but because they want their fucking gypsum.
Prestige.
No, they want their gypsum.
The emerald.
Yeah, they want their emerald. That's what they're doing it for. And the fact of the matter is maybe on your behalf, in your favor, maybe having so much more ore available come the May patch, come May 31st, maybe more people will be getting more emeralds from doing that, and then they won't give a fuck about the trees. So fingers crossed. All right, last question. Are they happy with the state of the economy? They say generally yes, but they're looking to make some tweaks. For the Azoth economy, they know that they need more use. They're looking into expanding the use in crafting. And they're looking to rebalance materials. Quite a bit of that is already in the May patch. For example, the hide changes we just discussed and the ore changes we just discussed. Both additional nodes for many of the ores, most primarily Orichalcum and Star Metal, and also faster respawns on those nodes. That is their answer to this question. I feel that they are 3/4 of the way missing the point of this question. If I were to ask the devs, are you happy with the state of the economy? And they gave me this answer, I would say, look, guys, I love you, but let me just take a moment and turn your head to force you to look at the ugliness that is the 1%er community in this game, where you have a handful of people that have basically controlled Windsward and Everfall from day one, and they have 100 times more money than everybody else combined. And then you have the everybody else combined. I would very much like it if somebody could force this question back on next month's list, but force them to answer it with regard to that particular aspect. With regard to everything that they say here, I don't find it objectionable. I find it to be perfectly fine and serviceable answer to a different question. But it entirely overlooks the question in my mind, which is, how do you guys find the difference of experience of this game between the Windsward owners and everybody else? I would very much like to get an open and honest discussion and answer by the community team on this subject. Who wants to go first on this one before we close out the show?
I just checked the price of Fancy Shell and Glowing Swamp Moss on this server. It is sitting at just over 200 for the Fancy Shell and over 500 for the Glowing Swamp Moss, respectively.
Have and have nots.
Yep, that's exactly what that is. And that's a thing where you've got supply and demand, so that it really kind of makes sense. I too am very curious to find out what quote unquote life is like for those that own Windsward. It still gets into the whole, like, why is it one major company that does that? Why is it seemingly very highly favoring that sort of play? What are the actual gains and whatnot that they can get? Does it matter in the wrong one? Maybe not. We just don't know. For most of the stuff for economy stuff, I would definitely love to do something with Azoth. We used to be very Azoth poor, or caring about Azoth a lot more than we are now. I don't want to see them really change fast travel to make that pendulum swing back the hard direction that they had it for it being super expensive. I think it's nice to be able to jump around and do things quickly, especially if we've got a group that's scattered and is like, hey, I need you guys over here to help me with this. But it does seem that they need to take a look at that particular currency. But for most everything else, supply demand, it's kind of taking care of itself. I mean, like we said just a minute ago with the weird wood and the ironwood and whatnot, they're cheap. You can buy them if you need them to make something. It's completely feasible just to go to the board and do it. It's the problem that I'm having is just people are taking it for the emerald, which makes sense. Be interesting to see how that changes with orichalcum and whatnot. If that takes care of that particular issue, which is people wanting to get their emerald and getting out, and then you're going to have more of those commodities on the market board, which is perfectly fine and dandy. People will do with them as they please. Orichalcum itself, very, very useful for all of our blunderbuss users to have the orichalcum ammo and chew through it merrily.
Right on. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. It's been a great show. We've had a lot of interesting things to discuss. We're pushing back the discussion on vertical versus horizontal progression for next week. We were planning on doing it this week, but they dropped a dev diary in the middle of the week without any advanced foreknowledge. And whenever they drop a dev diary, everything's going to fucking move back a week because we're going to talk about that. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. I would encourage everyone. I'm posting a link in the chat right now in both the Twitch and YouTube channels. That's the link to the Black Sky Legion Discord. Come and join us. You can now transfer from anywhere in the world to our server and any other server in Northeast straight to our server. We are on North America East Pluto. We are Marauders. We get together pretty much every day. Somebody's getting together to do something. We run dungeons. We help people out with quests. We do arenas. We help people with leveling, whether it's advice or helping them get past a particularly rough quest. We, do helping people out with getting their advancements in their faction stuff. We help people, I craft everything, literally everything in the game. There's nothing I don't have maxed. Every crafting, every gathering, every refining, everything. We can craft stuff for you. We can, help you find stuff, help you gather stuff, help you figure out how to do your daily gypsums, bring you through. We run people through Tempest for the first time or Laz and Jen and help them get geared up. We do all of this stuff. We're basically just hanging out, drinking fucking beers, and running around doing stuff, having fun. So join the Discord. Come in and hang out with us. And, have some fun. Sword, say goodnight to the beautiful people and tell them if you have anything left, then hit it up before you say goodnight.
Have a good evening, all. I'm about to get loud because I've got fighter jets flying over for an air show. So enjoy.
Right on. Wolf?
I just want to thank everybody for joining us. And has everybody found all the easels in every single county yet? Mm-hmm. Some of those pictures look pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. I have one that is particularly my pride and joy. It hangs over the fireplace in my living room. It's Sword making sweet, sweet love with Thorpe. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.